After the Cubs last left town, Milton Bradley was inserted into the 2 spot and has found it to his liking, much to the delight of manager Lou Piniella. The Cubs return home from a 10-game trip, and there's no rest for the weary as they host the defending world champion Phillies. Next. The Cubs are back home after a tough 4-6 road trip, wind blowing in, unseasonably cool temperatures, but clear skies, and we're set for Cubs baseball tonight here on Comcast Sportsnet. The Cubs welcome in the Philadelphia Phillies as they start a 6-game homestand, and let's do the daily update of the standings. The Cubs now 3 games back of the Cardinals in the National League Central. The Phillies lead the Marlins by 3.5, but last Friday they were up by 7. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. It's so good to be back home. The Cubs not playing very good baseball right now, but they play their best ball here. And as we take a look ahead at the upcoming schedule, some tough opponents coming up.
No question about it, Len. There are always going to be segments of the season that you point to even back in spring training and say this is an important stretch of the season. And no question, playing the defending world champions, you've got a completely retooled Pirates ball club that the Cubs know very little about. San Diego's played much better in the second half, and L.A. is the best team in the National League, so it's a tough stretch.
The Phillies again leading their division, but that hasn't gone all that well for them here the last 11 games.
Yeah, they've sputtered offensively, which is really surprising when you look at the depth of their lineup and some of the quality major league hitters they have. Only 3-8 in their last 11 games, and they just have not hit the ball well at all.
And you'd think there'll be some runs scored in this ballpark in this series. But again, the wind is blowing in, and it is cool tonight. And the 2 pitchers on the mound have had some excellent performances.
These are 2 guys that are real capable of putting zeros on the board in a hurry. J.A. Happ, in his last start against the Rockies, shut them out on 4 hits. That's a Rockies team that just pummeled the Cubs on this last road trip. And Rich Harden, we know, can be as dominating as any righty in the game when he's on.
So Happ and Harden on the mound. And coming up, the Cubs are back home for the week. 33-19 inside the friendly confines. They host the Phillies. Coming up.
Selection and big savings. McDonald's of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Honda. Test drive a 2009 Honda today at your Honda dealer. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Dedicated to giving you the security to experience wellness everywhere. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
It is Ryan Sandberg bobblehead down night. The first 10,000 fans through the turnstiles receiving the exclusive limited edition Rhino bobblehead. It's August 11th. Can you believe it? It feels like late September. Wind coming in off the lake. We saw a little fog about an hour ago in front of the buildings here on the north side. And right now it's pretty clear. Phillies and Cubs, this is a big series for both teams. You can see a little bit of that haze out near the lake.
It's not purple, but it is haze. They're hoping to snap out of the purple haze they've been in on this last road trip, hoping to turn things around rather quickly here at Wrigley Field. As you mentioned earlier, Len, the ball club has played really good here at Wrigley this year, and hopefully this will be a turning point in the second half of the season, this series against the defending world champions.
Nice hand for the Cubs as they take the field behind right-hander Rich Harden. And let's look in on Charlie Manuel's Phillies lineup, brought to you by Southwest. They lead the National League in runs, even though they have struggled lately. Also 150 homers leading the league. Rollins, Victorino, and Utley at the top. Howard, Ibanez, Ben Francisco came over from Cleveland, and the Cliff Lee deal is in right for Jason Worth. Feliz, Ruiz, and Jay Happ, the pitcher.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively tonight. Soriano once again in left field. Bradley over in right field. Sam Fuld getting another start against a tough lefty out in center field. Fox and Terrio will be on the left side of the infield, while Baker and Lee will man the right side. Giovanni Soto behind the dish today for right-handed starting pitcher Rich Harden. Look at his numbers on the season, looking to creep up over that 500 mark and whittle away at that ERA. No secrets with Rich Harden. Fastball, changeup. He can move his changeup different directions depending on finger pressure. Pitch count is always a factor when Rich Harden takes him out.
Ron Culpa will call the balls and strikes. Native of St. Louis, Missouri. Niels Carlson and the crew chief Scott around the bases. The Phillies are the defending world champions. They beat the Cubs 2 of 3. In Philadelphia earlier this year. There's some Phillies red in the ballpark, but for the most part, a lot of Cubs blue, and the smart fans brought the light jacket just in case. We're ready to go. The first pitch of the night is bounced to Derek Lee. Jimmy Rollins retired, 3 unassisted.
Rich Harden's been very efficient with his pitches so far in this game. You'd like to see a lot of that out of the Philly hitters against Rich Harden, because he does strike out a lot of batters and occasionally will walk his share of batters. The pitch count tends to get elevated rather quickly. That's a beautiful start to the ball game. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Here's Shane Victorino, got ejected on Sunday while playing center field. The home plate umpire kicked him out. 1 strike the count. Make it 0-2 to Victorino. Like Rollins, he's a switch hitter. After Victorino, you have Utley, Howard, and Ibanez, all left-handed hitters. Wind the pitch. Rounded foul, and makes it up into the seats. Cubs arrived back in town around 3 in the morning. So it was a pretty quick night / early morning of sleep. And right back at it tonight. But I think the way the Cubs finished up their trip, they wanted to get right back at it as quickly as possible.
And the Cubs had a full day's work on the field before the ball game today. They took batting practice. They took their grounders and fly balls defensively. I think a lot of times you come off a road trip like that, and you try to do the guys a favor by giving them a little extra sleep. They don't have to come for batting practice, show up late, put the uniform on and play ball. And a lot of times you get a very groggy effort on that day after an early morning arrival.
Called strike 3. And a mid-90s fastball right at the bottom of the zone for the second out. Rich has been very good against the Phillies in his career, particularly on July 21st. He got a no decision but gave up only 1 run in 7 innings.
4 hits in that ball game, touchdown, 6 Phillies batters, only 2 walks, and I think that was a real key for him. Didn't put himself into any jams.
He has commented that he likes pitching on cool nights. And he gets one tonight, 65 degrees, the wind out of the north at 10 miles an hour. 1-0 on Chase Utley. Harden's night ERA is 2.44. That's clubbed to straightaway center. Sam Fold is there to make the catch. And they go down 1-2-3 on 8 pitches in the first. The Cubs are coming up in the bottom of the first against lefty Jay Happ. Phillies went down in order in the top of the first. Let's check in on the Cubs Southwest starting lineup against Northwestern alum Jay Happ. Terrio, Bradley, and Lee at the top. Fox in again for Ramirez. More on him in a second. Giovanni Soto with a home run last night. Soriano in left. Jeff Baker gets another start at second. Full for the second straight night at center. And Rich Harden does the pitching. Jay Happ has a lot of family and friends in attendance tonight. He was born in Spring Valley, Illinois, about 2 hours west-southwest of Chicago, and attended Northwestern. And what a year he has put together. Oh, 1 to Terrio, roller to Jimmy Rollins, who went down on a knee. High throw, but Howard able to stay on the bag. 1 out.
Take a look at the rest of the Phillies defensively. Fewest errors in the National League, only 49 coming into play tonight. Raul Ibanez, Shane Victorino, and Ben Francisco across the outfield. Francisco filling in for Jason Worth. Pedro Feliz and Jimmy Rollins on the left side. Chase Utley, Ryan Howard on the right side. Carlos Ruiz doing the catching tonight for left-hander Jay Happ.
Now Milton Bradley, batting right-handed. Off an excellent trip, swings away at the first one, way up in the air, foul ground. Feliz over near the dugout, and I think the wind just simply pushed it out of play.
One of those borderline plays that we talk about all the time. A defender is usually better served to get to the railing. You can always work your way back off the railing. Feliz just tried to time it and get over there just at the same time the ball did. Had he gotten to the rail, I think he might have been able to reach that ball. Heads up, Luke.
Yeah. Lou already wearing that jacket on this cool evening. That's a strike on the outside corner. Well, Jay Happ, I'm sure, had to listen to all the possible trade rumors that were out there as the Phillies were in that Roy Halladay mix. Rollins throws out Bradley. They eventually acquired Cliff Lee from Cleveland. He'll start on Thursday. And the Phillies did not have to give up Happ. And then, Bob, there was that whole what's going to happen when Pedro joins the rotation? And all Hap did his last start is pitch a complete game shutout to kind of cement his spot in this rotation. And Jamie Moyer is now heading to the bullpen as Pedro will make his Phillies debut tomorrow.
Kind of points to the ability of Jay Happ to eliminate all the negatives and eliminate all the distractions and just focus on what he has to do out there on the mound. I mean, the reality of it is, as a young player, he has no control over what the Phillies do with him as far as trades or putting him in the bullpen, putting him in the rotation. The only thing he can control is what he does out there on the mound, and he's done an outstanding job.
Leads the NL in road earned run average. 1.72. Three and one on Derek Lee. There's Pedro Martinez. Tomorrow will be his first major league start since he faced the Cubs as a Met at Shea Stadium last September 25th. Ball four. First base runner of the night. That'll bring up Jake Fox, who is on the fringes of the Rookie of the Year race. Two guys right in the middle of it. Jay Happ and Randy Wells. A pretty good battle right down to the end.
The Happ numbers maybe a little more dominating as far as the strikeouts are concerned. You see where they rank among National League rookies. And we all know if Randy Wells had any offensive support at all his first 6 or 7 starts of the season, he'd have much better numbers as far as the won-loss record.
Jake Fox could make a case coming in at 301. Getting his 3rd straight start at third base for Aramis Ramirez, who had a cortisone shot in his left shoulder. We'll hear from Aramis coming up. He may not even appear in this series, depending on how he feels the next couple of days. Lee walked with 2 outs, and the 1-1 to the cleanup man is hit foul.
You know, it's always kind of dangerous, Len, to try to project what a guy would do if he were given more at bats. But Jake Fox, in just over 100 at bats this season, has 8 home runs. You know, if he would get 350 or 400 at bats, which a number of players have at this time of year, it's a pretty safe bet that he'd have at least 20 bombs at this point.
I think you're right. Off the inside corner. At least early on in his career, I think the one thing we can say about Jake is even if he doesn't hit for a high average, he's going to hit his home runs. Bouncer foul.
Well, he's certainly not a household name around Major League Baseball, at least not yet. But we've seen enough of his at-bats to know that he is a prototypical power hitter. He's looking to drive the ball out of the ballpark his first 2 strikes of an at-bat, and then he's a little more willing to give in with 2 strikes and hit the ball wherever it's pitched.
Hanging in there against Happ. Jake will not move back in the box. He, like Alfonso Soriano, kind of crowds the front part of the batter's box.
John Cusack?
I believe it was. I believe it is. Driven into center. Base hit. That ball almost carried in the air all the way to Victorino. That's how hard it was hit. That was a Ryan Klesko hit.
Yeah. You know, talk about Jake Fox staying up toward the front of that batter's box. To me, that's an indication of a hitter that's confident he can hit anybody's fastball. He wants to move up in the box to take away the breaking pitches and the change-ups before they get down around knee level or below. That's where most power hitters have problems. Off-speed pitches down low in the zone. So in order to take that away from the opposing pitcher, Jake moves way up in the box, and he's confident he can still hit your fastball.
That's lined right at Pedro Feliz. We've seen that a few times with runners on base over the last few days. Cubs lead 2 in the first. 0-0. Phillies and Cubs on a nice night from Wrigley. to the media today and was asked, did he come back too soon from the shoulder injury?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
They didn't rush you.
They didn't rush me, but I just want to be back and play. We were in the pennant race, and I want to come back. I only went down for 3 games rehab and come back. But I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I was doing pretty good 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden I started hurt. So just happens.
So he made it sound like Thursday or Friday. After receiving that cortisone shot to deal with the inflammation, as Ryan Howard will lead off. The Phillies second. The Cubs putting on a major pull shift against him. Jeff Baker way out in the grass and right against the pull hitter Howard.
It's like a T formation here.
0-2. Lots of strikes from Harden here early on. 9 out of the first 10 pitches have been strikes. Cubs with 5 outfielders right now and 2 infielders behind Rich Harden. You know what?
Doesn't need any of them.
Could have put all 7 guys in left or right or center. Wouldn't have mattered. Just pitcher and catcher in this at bat.
Does his best Satchel Paige impersonation here. The story is in his heyday, Satchel Paige used to call his outfielders in and let them sit in the dugout and then strike out the side.
Raul Ibanez putting together a fantastic year, an all-star. Fouls back. Harden's 0-1 offering is hit foul pretty hard, scattering the bullpen arms for the Phillies. We want to welcome our viewers all over Europe to tonight's game, watching on ESPN International, and also welcome to our servicemen and servicewomen watching from locations all over the world on the Armed Forces Network. Only Albert Pujols has hit for a higher slugging average in the entire National League than Raul Ibanez.
We'll talk about going from one extreme to the other. Raul Ibanez played most of his career up in Seattle, the very spacious Safeco Park, where it's really tough to hit home runs, and it's a real soft landing in Philadelphia in that bandbox.
I would think, Bob, this is the perfect kind of start to an outing for Rich Harden, in that he's throwing a lot of strikes early, and by getting these guys to swing, he might be able to slowly expand that strike zone throughout the night. At least that's the hope.
It's about as sharp as we've seen Rich early in a ball game this year. He occasionally will struggle to find his release point on that changeup early in the game, and if the opposing teams don't chase it, he can find himself in a lot of tough hitters' counts, but very aggressively pounding that zone.
Baker up with it. 5 up, 5 down for Harden.
Well, and you know, defenders and catchers and even the guys sitting on the bench, they can tell very early on when their starting pitcher's feeling it out there on the mound. I mean, Rich Harden working quickly. You can tell by his body language he feels like he's got good stuff tonight. He's, as we said, pounding that strike zone early. These are the kind of nights you like to play behind a pitcher like Rich Harden.
Ben Francisco was acquired in that Cliff Lee deal on July 29th. 4 minor leaguers went the other direction. Hitting .360 over his last 15 games as he gives Jason Worth the night off tonight. Fold one-hands it in center, and Rich Harden off to an excellent start. No base runners through 2 for the Phillies. Bottom 2, no score. Sports Night presented by Dex. Coming up tonight after Cubs post-game live, reaction from the clubhouse following tonight's game and highlights from the Michael Jordan brand basketball tournament. Chris and Pat will have Sports Night presented by Dex after post-game live only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Happy birthday to somebody. Not a bad place to spend your birthday. Soriano leading off the bottom of the second. That's a big C on that cap.
That's a big man wearing the big C on the cap.
High fly to left, not carrying for Soriano. Ibanez recording the first out. All we heard about all weekend in Denver was how hot it was here. It was really turned around in terms of the temperature. It'll be a pretty comfortable week.
I really think that was just because Lollapalooza was in town, and as we know, it's got to be in the 90s with high humidity for Lollapalooza.
I don't know what the humidity is tonight, but it feels like it's about 8 times what it was in Denver, or it's about 10%. Baker lines that one over Jimmy Rollins and into left. Baker with the back-to-back 2-hit games Sunday and Monday, and right back in there tonight against the lefty Happ.
Hey fans, watch the Cubs take on the Phillies tomorrow at 7:05. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs gray t-shirt, compliments of RCN.
Sam Fuld got the start in center and had a couple of hits and 5 tries. So Kosuke Fukudome on the bench for the second straight game, at least to start it. Fuld was late on that fastball, 0-1.
It's kind of funny, Len, with the lineup configuration the Cubs have tonight. You've got Baker, who's on first base, a little above average runner. Sam Fuld, who's a very good runner, and then Rich Harden, who might be the fastest Cub, hitting in the 9 spot tonight. If we can get 2 or more of those guys on base for the top of the order, it should bode well.
Big leg kick in the pitch, pulled into right, a base hit. Baker with a look at it, and Francisco gets it back in quickly. Back-to-back singles with 1 out. Nice piece of hitting by Sam Fuld. As you mentioned last night, he hangs in there pretty well against lefties.
A one-handed swing, really had to extend out there to get that pitch on the outside part of the plate. But Sam Fuld, as we mentioned the other day, down at AAA Iowa, he faces righties, lefties. He's an everyday player. He hangs in there tough against lefties.
How small does the outfield look here at Wrigley Field after spending the last 4 days at spacious Coors Field?
Well, this feels like playing in somebody's backyard compared to Coors Field.
Are we in Williamsport? Harden squaring to bunt, and he bunted through it. Strike 1.
A little different look to the warning track here at Wrigley Field while we were gone. Some maintenance work on the warning track, skimmed a layer of the dirt that was there and replaced it with that kind of red looking dirt. Really, it's a nice contrast with the green ivy on the walls and the green grass in the outfield.
Missed that one. 0-2. Happ at the belt. Harden trying to get that bunt down. It's a strikeout as he bunts it foul. So with 2 outs, it's up to Ryan Terrios. The Cubs continue to get early base runners. Last night they left the bases loaded in each of the first 2 innings. The best inning they had the last couple of days was actually the 9th inning last night. They scored 4 runs. Still came up 6 runs short. First place Cardinals hosting the Cincinnati Reds, and the Reds getting 3 in the first inning. Mitchell Boggs gave up those 3 runs. We'll see if Justin Lear can do to the Cardinals what he did to the Cubs last Wednesday when he went the distance and shut them out. Another liner with 2 on and 2 out. In the first, it was Soto lining to third. In the second, Terrio lines to Utley. No score after 2. Underway in the third, a called strike on Pedro Feliz, the Phillies' third baseman. Out into right center. Bradley battling the lights and able to pick it. Nice catch by Bradley. Just lost it in the lights as that ball was pretty low off the bat. 1 out.
When you see those outfielders trying to get short, that means they've lost the ball in the lights. You can see Milton Bradley crouching down there trying to keep the ball above the lights so he could keep an eye on it and make the catch. That's not easy. You lose that ball in those lights. You'd be surprised how bright they look, even though it's not dark here yet tonight.
Strike 1 on the catcher, Ruiz. Too high, 1-1. We mentioned Pedro Martinez will make his Phillies debut tomorrow night. Jeff Samardzija will get his first major league start for the Cubs. And for Carlos Zambrano. And then you have Cliff Lee and Ryan Dempster on Thursday afternoon. Drive to left, Soriano coming over. 2 outs. Watch the Cubs take on the Phillies on Thursday at 1:20. Kids get to the ballpark early. The first 10,000 children 13 and younger will get a Cubs Back to school notepad and pen, compliments of comment. The pitcher as Harden has been perfect through the first 8 batters of this lineup. This couple of balls were hit hard. Comes his 0-1, quickly 2 strikes. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani in attendance.
Last time I saw Rudy Giuliani at a ball game, he wasn't smiling.
Would have been Game 7 of the 0-1 World Series, right?
Yes, sir.
Called strike 3, a strikeout per inning for Rich Harden. 0-0 midway in the 3rd. The 25th annual Cubs convention will take place at the Hilton Chicago on January 15th, 16th, and 17th, 2010. Rooms are available now by calling the Hilton Chicago 312-922-4400 and asking for the Cubs convention rate. Weekend passes will go on sale in early November. For more info, visit Cubs.com. Not sure if you can buy those glasses on Cubs.com, but you can look around. Pretty good pitchers duel here. The Cubs have had the chances tonight. 2 on in each of the first 2 innings, but 4 left and no runs. 1-2 the count to Bradley.
Yeah, the good news is the Cubs got out of those innings without scoring, but it wasn't because they had poor at bats. Giovanni Soto hit a rocket to Pedro Feliz at third, and then Ryan Theriot with a line drive to Chase Utley at second.
Tomahawk deep to left center, and a diving attempt off the glove of Ibanez. Victorino will get it back in, but it's a double for Bradley. So Bradley stays hot.
That pitch is shoulder high. That's a quick bat by Milton Bradley to get on top of that ball and drive it toward the gap in left center. Good effort by Raul Ibanez. He got a glove on it. Looked like he short-armed it just a little bit to protect himself as he went into his dive there, and that cost him the catch.
A scoring position with nobody out. And a 1-0 count on D. Lee. Nobody in the lineup tonight had any at-bats previously against Happ. He was making his Wrigley Field debut, facing the Cubs for the first time. He had faced Aaron Miles before, but Miles is on the bench. But does a lot of his damage here at home. Hitting .311 at Wrigley. 3-0. Fox on deck. Good rip on 3-0. So it's 3-1.
Rare 3-0 swing by Derek Lee. He rarely goes after that 3-0 cookie. Figuring that if the pitcher throws him a strike 3-0, he's got to do it again 3-1. But this time he got it wound up, got a fastball in the middle of the plate, took a big home run cut and just missed it.
Six lefty coming inside, and Lee took it. For ball 4, he's walked both times. 2 on, no outs for Jake. Happ was taken in the 3rd round of the 2004 draft out of Northwestern. James Anthony Happ. J period A period, but he prefers to go by J. He's the minor league pitcher of the year for the Phillies in 2008 and came into this season with just 47 days of major league service. Base hit left field. Bradley's going to be sent. Ibanez up with it. Throw to the plate is going to be late. Cubs lead 1-0 on Jake Fox's RBI single. He's 2 for 2. Little Big Ten matchup. University of Michigan and Northwestern. The Wolverine 1 out.
Yes, indeed. Jake Fox continuing to swing that hot bat. Mike Quade with a little bit of a dangerous send, but Raul Ibanez, for all of his offensive abilities, does not possess a strong throwing arm out there in left field. So a very aggressive but fruitful send that time by Mike Quade.
And still no outs. Here's Soto. Wide for ball 1.
You see Mike Quade getting in a position. He decides to go ahead and wave Milton Bradley on home. You see the arc in that throw from Raul Ibanez, allowing Milton Bradley to get in underneath Carlos Ruiz at the plate. We talked about it before. Usually the determining factor, obviously the runner's speed and the outfielder's arm and where you're at in the ball game, what's the score. Well, usually the determining factor is the runner on third base before the outfielder picks up the ball, or does the outfielder have the ball before the runner gets to third base?
Foul pop. That'll be a souvenir. 1-2.
As you watch here, you see Bradley coming into third base. Quade's got himself into a position, and technically that would be a hold normally. Strong throwing arm by the left fielder. You would normally throw up the stop sign with nobody out in the inning, but as I mentioned, Ibanez, according to the scouting report, does not have a strong throwing arm, so maybe you take a little more chance tonight.
Happ coming off the complete game 4-hit shutout. He did throw 127 pitches, a career high. Getting an extra day of rest before the start. Phillies didn't even officially announce their rotation for the series until yesterday, but I have a feeling Happ had a good idea of when he was going to go. Manuel to see a second manager in the Phillies history lead that team to a World Series championship. Dallas Green the other in 1980, and this is what the Cubs have to face the next 2 days. This is why tonight is really important. Not quite sure what to expect from Pedro tomorrow. pretty good idea Cliff Lee's going to be good on Thursday. 3-2 to Soto.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen Pedro Martinez pitch since the last time he faced the Cubs, he's a different pitcher now. He sinks the ball, he changes speeds on his breaking ball, doesn't have the same kind of velocity or snap on his pitches that he used to, but still a tremendous competitor.
It would be the first time here for him since 1996 when he was with the Expos. Ball 4, they are loaded up for Soriano with no outs. And that'll bring Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, out to the mound.
At least in the early going here, the strike zone of Ron Culpa behind home plate is not doing J. Happ any favors. Happ is a guy that likes to throw his fastball into right-handed hitters a lot. The walk to Derek Lee, as a matter of fact, both walks to Derek Lee, and most recently the walk to Giovanni Soto on fastballs just off of that inside corner.
Great opportunity for the Cubs, already leading 1-0. Soriano hit just 194 on the road trip. Really has cooled off. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's 3 hits away from 1,500 in his career. Phillies will set up in double play depth all around their infield. And the pitch is high on a heater. The 1-0 missed again.
And you can see from Happ's reaction, he wanted that pitch. That's a pitch that he needs to get to be successful. Pounding that inside corner with the fastball, that opens up the outside part of the plate for his changeup.
Drive to left. Ibanez will catch a little slip there. It'll be a hard hit sac fly. For Soriano, it's 2-0. $50 RBIs on the year for Alfonso. 2-zip.
Another hard hit out by the Cubs offense. We talked about Soto and Terrio, and now Soriano with a rocket line drive into left field. Does plate Derek Lee from third base.
Baker 1 for 1. Outside. As Jeff Baker didn't get to bed till about 5 o'clock this morning because he comes from a military family, and he was brought up knowing, believing that wherever you go, no matter how late or how early you get there, you have to always unpack everything, fold your clothes, the whole deal.
Well, you can tell I'm not from a military family because I left my suitcase in the car till this morning.
Well, if Jeff's parents found out that you did that, the punishment would have been you'd have to fold everybody's clothes.
KP for a week. It's an odd thing to deal with, and I think sometimes we don't give it its due over the course of a long season. This travel schedule that these players deal with, it's tough getting in 3:30 in the morning. It usually takes a while to unwind before you can go to sleep. A lot of these players have children that were up very early this morning, anxious to see Dad.
Yeah, they didn't care that their dad got 2 hours of sleep.
And then, as I mentioned, the Cubs had a full workout before the ball game today, so I'm sure a lot of the guys are going to sleep very good tonight.
They'll all sleep better if they can get this homestand off to a winning start. They lead 2-0 here in the third. swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout for Happ. The other was on a foul bunt with 2 strikes.
Baker chasing an elevated fastball right there. A lot of good at-bats already in this game for the Cubs offensively, maybe more than we saw in all 4 games in Denver. Really making Happ work, forcing him to throw the ball over the plate, and when he does, they're making some solid contact.
Sam Fuld with a unique setup as he's moving on both feet as he gets set to hit. Heels come up. Elevated to left. Ibanez will make the catch, and that's the inning. Cubs got 2 to take the early lead behind Rich Harden, who's been perfect through 3. Time now for the Aflac trivia question. Can you name the 5 players who have received back-to-back MVP awards in the National League? Five players. Let's see if we can come up with it. Jimmy Rollins, a former MVP a couple of years ago, 2007. The year before was his teammate Ryan Howard. Shoots that one into right, and Bradley made the play. Got it just before it hit the ground.
Well, a nice running catch by Milton Bradley. He's had a couple of testers out there in right field already. Rollins with a lot of topspin on that line drive. Milton immediately reacted back and then came on in a hurry to make a shoe top catch.
Fox pulled way in at third. Lee even with a bag at first against the speedy Shane Victorino inside. 1 ball, no strikes. All right, back-to-back MVPs, National League. Gotta believe Barry Bonds did it 2 years in a row at some point. There's one.
Did Ernie ever win back-to-back? I'm guessing Ernie Banks.
Okay, I like it. Got to be a Philly on the list.
Mike Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt.
Yep. Who, by the way, went to Ohio University, just in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, we know. He's his second most famous alum of Ohio U. Victorino grounds right to Terrio. And at this point, I just start rattling off Hall of Famers and hoping. I mean, Roberto Clemente. I mean, you could just kind of throw out a bunch of them, but a couple more. Yeah, we're pretty sure Ernie's on that list. Inside to Chase Utley.
Well, at this point, we'll anxiously await the answer with everybody else.
The Phillies are a lot better on the road than at home. They lead the majors in road winning percentage of 32-19. On the road, they're just .500 at home. Kind of hard to explain. But they've dropped 8 of their last 11. And in 7 of those losses, they didn't score more than 3 runs. And you give Rich Harden at least 4 runs. Over the 48 career starts with at least 4 runs while he's been in the game. He's 37-0.
And I love to watch Chase Utley's setup in the batter's box. He takes that last bat waggle as Rich Harden is beginning his windup. Most hitters like to get locked in a little bit sooner than that, but Utley very relaxed, takes the tension out of his arms with that last swing of the bat.
Lofted to left. Easy play for Soriano. How about Rich Harden? 12 batters have come up. They've all been retired. 3 strikeouts through 4, and the Cubs lead 2-0 as they come to bat in the bottom of the 4th. The question. The Duck had a restroom break. Oh, there he is.
There he is. I hear him. Don't see him yet.
5 players, back-to-back MVPs in the National League. I'm going to say Banks, Bonds we got. Schmidt, and there were 2 more. One was in your era, one a little bit before.
Joe Morgan, Dale Murphy. Oh, yeah, good call on Murph.
Good stuff.
Well, Dale Murphy was a superstar that kind of flew under the radar, didn't call any attention to himself, just showed up to play the game hard every day.
Have Happ gave up 2 in the third, but could have been a lot worse for him as the Cubs had the bases loaded with no outs. They used to have that run expectancy chart in terms of base runners wherever they are, and it tells you how many runs teams average in an inning. It's bases and outs. I think bases loaded, no outs, you probably generally score at least 2, I would think. Harden's had a career year at the plate.
And some of his base hits have been the direct result of his speed. Soft infield grounders that guys just assumed he was going to jog down that first baseline like most starting pitchers do, but Rich Harden doesn't jog anywhere.
Happ has weaved in and out of traffic all night. The opposing pitcher's giving him all he can handle here, and Harden's second at bat.
Well, you'd like to see this at bat result in a base hit, or at least find a way to get on. This will be the 10th pitch of the at bat that Rich Harden has seen. You love that kind of extended at bat for your pitcher against his opposite number.
Pop-up's going to be caught by Rollins. As most of the bat ended up out near Ryan Howard. Very dangerous. Menard's grounds crew taking care of the infield. 51s on Sunday. Big league Cubs back in action tonight. Upstairs to Ryan Theriot, who's 0 for 2. He has made a team high 105 starts. Phillies red. Tattoos were blue.
The good news is, there are a few Philly fans here tonight at Wrigley Field, but they're scattered around the ballpark. There's no one section of Philly fans.
An opposite field base hit for Theriot, so the Cubs with at least one hit in every inning.
Yeah, it looks like the Phillies and the Cubs are involved in an usher exchange program. Obviously a guy that has made his way here from Philly, part of the staff. I would assume we sent one of our ushers to Philadelphia for their last homestand.
As Harry might say, staff backwards is fats. Well, we had him turning all the way around. He didn't know which way to look.
It's a common mistake a lot of people make when they come here to Wrigley Field. They look up at us in the booth and hold up signs. We don't have the cameras up here. We can point you out to the cameramen, but we don't have the cameras up here in the booth.
Now see, Frank has the camera. That's the guy you look at. You want to get on. Foul ball not too far away from Frank. He said J Happ. It's J.A., but he wants to be called J. You can't call him AJ. That's apparently the big pet peeve. A little confusing.
call me Jay. You can call me Jay. He doesn't have to call me AJ.
All Big Ten selection 3 times. First player ever from the Northwestern program to be All Big Ten 3 times. Off the outside corner. 2-1. Really taking his time for this next pitch. Another foul. He was born in Spring Valley. His hometown is Peru, Illinois, which isn't too far from Spring Valley. A couple of hours outside of Chicago. Coming back again on a 2-2, and he got him looking on stripes.
A bit of a tailing fastball on that outside corner. Milton Bradley did not agree with the call. He knew it was close. You could tell because he started the bat, but then about midway point of the swing, he decided it was not going to be in the strike zone. Unfortunately, Ron Kolpa did not agree with Milton.
Lee has walked both times. He has scored once. Open the throttle on that swing. 0-1 on Lee. Reds lead the Cardinals 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd in St. Louis. Justin Lear's given up 4 hits through 2 innings, but again, no runs. A little bit away. Troy Tulowitzki again in the Rockies lineup, batting cleanup tonight against Ross Ohlendorf and the Pittsburgh Pirates, who lead 1-0 in the 2nd. A career night for Tulowitzki last night, hit for the cycle against the Cubs. And I guess the reason he went for the triple to complete the cycle is his teammate Brad Hott told him, you better do it. If you have a chance for 3, you got to try it. It was a borderline triple. Could have been a double and an error. But they gave it to him, and history was made as Victorino makes a catch. 1-out single, but no runs for the Cubs. We'll go to the 5th. Rich Harden has been on his game tonight, leading Jay Happ 2-0.
Luke Stuckmeyer here. Don't forget to check out my Cubs blog, Bricks and Ivy, at csnchicago.com, brought to you by Toshiba.
The Cubs lead them 2-0. Their festive atmosphere as always here at Wrigley Field. It's exactly what the Cubs needed coming back from a 4-6 trip. It did not end well, losing 3 of 4 in Denver and losing 4 of the last 5 on the trip. Oh, 1 to Howard, misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mentioned Tulowitzki in the lineup. I wanted to check the box score just to see if he had done anything tonight. And he led off the bottom of the second with a home run.
Jeez. The way he's swinging the bat right now, you wish for a doubleheader every day. He is so locked in at that plate.
Again, they really shift around to the right against Howard, who hits a high fly to left. And that finds the fans. They scramble for that souvenir.
Well, this is the defensive alignment that most National League teams use against Ryan Howard. Some kind of an exaggerated pull shift on the infield, but the outfielders are shading a little bit to the other way. He does have tremendous power to left center and left field.
Under his hands on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Been a struggle for Ryan Howard lately. 206 over his last 9 games coming in. He struck out his first time up and does it again here. He hasn't homered over his last 9 either. So they'll try to keep him in the park this week.
Boy, and he just got rushed with a high fastball from Rich Harden. He is way tardy on this pitch. Boy, Rich Harden can do that to good hitters. You get caught in between the fastball and the changeup. If you look for the changeup, you know you have no chance to hit the fastball. And if you sit on fastball, you're going to be way out in front of the changeup. So consequently, a lot of guys wait until they see the ball, and then they're always caught by surprise by the heater up high.
Ready for an 0-1 to Ibanez. Outside third. Ibanez is 5 out of 27 in his career against Harden. Howard, who has struck out twice, 1 for 9. Swing and a miss.
Oh, it's filthy. Pitch probably started a little above the knees on the inside corner and nearly ends up in the dirt off the plate inside.
Five strikeouts for Harden. Ben Francisco strike 1. Able to just hold up, says Jerry Meals. Has not had to work from the stretch all night. These are fun to catch, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They're playing Stratomatic baseball back there. Whatever Soto calls for, Rich Harden's hitting the glove.
Strikes out the side. 15 up, 15 down. As Harden has been perfect through 5. Strikes out all 3 batters. Howard, Ibanez, and Francisco. Cubs lead 2-0. Trail Jake Fox takes ball one low, bottom of the fifth. Everyone talking about Pedro coming back tomorrow. Samardzija with his first career start. Rich Harden's trying to overshadow everybody.
He's doing a real good job of it up to this point. I tell you, he's on top of his game. I mean, we've seen Rich be really good for stretches of some of his starts over the past couple of years, but he's dealing tonight. Maybe as good as we've ever seen him.
Yeah, and against a Phillies offense that overall leading the league in runs. It's scuffling as of late. Strike 1 and 2.
Feel a draft. Feel a draft in here, partner?
Yeah, a little bit. Fox grounds out. There's that breeze. That's what you were talking about. Coors Light freeze can. Decision for Mike Quaddy to send the runner. You said maybe a half a step early. A lot of times the third base coach will hold that runner if the ball reaches a fielder first, but it worked out as the Cubs got the first couple of runs.
Well, you know, the real key to that play, Len, I'm sorry, and Mike Quaddy would tell you this right away, is the fact that the runners go hard. Assume that you're going to be sent home. That way you're not caught by surprise and suddenly you feel like you got to turn on the jets to get to home plate. If you run hard from second base, that makes a third base coach's decision really easy.
.3-0 to Soto. A homer and 2 RBIs last night in Colorado. Lined out hard to third his first at bat tonight. Walked in the third inning, and now it's 3-1 here in the fifth. I suppose you could say it's been an odd night at the plate for Soto. First, third, and fifth. Deep drive, but I think he pulled it foul. Yeah, way foul. The wind really pushing it back into the grandstand.
A home run to left field tonight is going to have to be the line drive variety. That wind has picked up considerably since the beginning of the ball game, blowing straight in from left field.
Ball 4. Happ has walked 4. Here's Soriano, who hit a sac fly in the third. Ground ball to third, not hit terribly hard, but the Phillies will still turn 2. They go around the horn, 5-4-3. Rich Harden back to work in the 6th, 2-0 Cubs. as they battle Ryan Howard and the Phillies in high definition. Coverage begins with BMW Cubs pregame live. Cubs hosting the Phillies, 12:30 Thursday right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. That's high to Pedro Feliz as we begin the 6th. Cubs with 2 runs on 6 hits. The Phillies haven't been able to muster anything against Rich Harden. Rare to see him down in the count 2-0. Lined and caught by Baker. We've hit a few balls hard, but they've all been for outs.
Baker positioned perfectly. Step to his left. Easy catch just before the ball hit the ground.
The whole thing with Rich Harden in his home road and day-night splits was overblown. The manager, Lou Piniella, noted a few weeks ago that Rich has been a lot better away from Wrigley and at night versus during the day. So Lou casually mentioned that there would be times when they would try to configure the schedule to allow Rich to pitch in those beneficial situations, even though prior to this year they weren't that stark. Well, this is a Rich Harden kind of night. He's from British Columbia. He has mentioned his preference for pitching in cooler weather, and he's received it here in mid-August, which is pretty rare. Now, having said that, and the wind conditions will help a pitcher any night. I think if it were 105 degrees, he'd still be dealing tonight. The 2-1 to Ruiz is hit foul out of play.
Yeah, you look at his career splits coming into this season, and as far as the day-night goes, a 3.22 ERA in the daytime, 3.24 at night. Sometimes it's just an anomaly that comes up over the course of one season. A lot of it depends on your opponents that you face at home as opposed to the opponents you face on the road. The wind conditions certainly here at Wrigley, as you mentioned, always play a factor.
The 3-2 pitch, ball 4. So for the first time all night, Harden will work from the stretch. That's their first base runner. Comes with 1 out in the 6th inning.
And sometimes that can be of a little bit of concern when a guy has worked this deep into the ball game without pitching out of the stretch, and now suddenly you find yourself in that abbreviated delivery. The good news is the first batter he's going to face out of the stretch is the opposing pitcher.
Cubs are expecting a bunt. Happ already showing bunt. And Derek Lee with the slide and the catch for the out. Nicely done by Derek Lee. We've seen a little slippage out there. I think the grass is just a little wet with all this humidity.
Boy, what an aggressive play by Derek Lee. We talk all the time about the direction you should bunt the ball in certain situations, and that particular situation called for a bunt to the first base side, and Derek Lee came storming in after holding the runner on first and made a nice sliding catch on that popped up bunt.
And when he tried to slide, saw Banya slip out and left. One and 0 to Jimmy Rollins. Got off to a really slow start. Was hitting .205 as late as July 1st, but just under 330 since, and that's deep to right. And can you believe it? Their first hit is a game-tying 2-run homer in the 6th inning. The first hit for the Phillies, and we're back to even at 2-2.
We had talked about the Phillies' offensive struggles coming into this series, but Jimmy Rollins was not part of those struggles. He's been the one Philly hitter that's been pretty hot lately.
Second time this year Rollins has gone deep against Rich Hardin. And they lead the league by a wide margin in homers. Well, we've seen this one before. Cubs out hitting the opposition, but they out hit the Rockies 17-14 on Sunday and lost 11-5. The 2-1 to Victorino. Popped him up, but no play for Soto. Low and in. And the count is full. 3-2. Utley would hit next. Fair ball, and Lee will flip. Harden covering. Inning over. They get their first base runner on a 1-out walk, and then 2 batters later, Rollins puts one into the right field bleachers, and it's 2-2. Last of the 6th. It's a 2-2 tie. Jimmy Rollins just tied it up with a 2-run homer, the Phillies' only hit of the ballgame. 1-0 to Jeff Baker. And a leadoff single for Baker. It's 3 straight 2-hit performances for the newest Cubs. Sign up for a subscription to Vineline, the official monthly magazine of the Chicago Cubs. Only Vineline offers exclusive coverage from spring training all the way through the Cubs' next postseason run. Visit the Vineline blog at Cubs.com and order today. Sam Fuld hits a ground ball to Chase Utley. Rollins with a relay, and they turn 2 for the second consecutive inning. A 5-4-3 in the 5th. This time 4 6-3. And just like that, 2 down. If you missed some of the action, go to On Demand from Comcast, and you'll have access to Comcast Sportsnet Cubs games ready to watch on your schedule. To find out more, call 1-888-4-BEST-TV. This is somewhat similar to last night with Jorge De La Rosa. Clearly Happ had some issues settling in. Cubs got him for 2 in the 3rd inning, but he seems to be getting better and better.
We're starting to see more and more ground balls as opposed to the first 3 innings of this ball game. We saw a lot of line drive outs from the Cubs hitters, but he's starting to get that fastball down. Better movement on his changeup, getting it down low in the zone, and when he does that, he gets a lot of ground balls.
Happy 16th birthday to Shannon St. Marie. Big Cub fan watching tonight with mom and dad in Woodstock, Illinois. Harden pops out to Rollins. Quick 7-pitch 6th inning for Happ. We're off to the 7th and a 2-2 tie. Analysis from Todd Hollinsworth, and check in on Lou Piniello's post-game remarks. Don't miss Lowe's Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Mom's night out.
I don't think they're that sorry.
Their body language belied their words. Having fun. They're not sorry. They're at Wrigley Field.
The kids are sorry.
Apologies necessary.
Kids are sorry they're not here.
Well, they asked, so we'll tell the kids. Sorry, kids. Chase Utley starting the 7th. The Sarge, Gary Matthews, former Cub. Current Phillies broadcaster, will conduct the 7th inning stretch tonight. Two 2-0 on Chase Utley. Cubs are out hitting the Phils 7-1, but it's a 2-2 tie where it counts. Now 3-0 to Utley, who has flied out twice. Ryan Howard on deck has struck out twice. And he's been a bit overmatched by Rich Harden. All four. Thing I've learned from you partners, our 5th year together, is leadoff walks are never good. They may not always be bad, but when you walk Chase Utley in front of Ryan Howard and Raul Ibanez, as good as Rich Harden's been tonight, this is a tough spot.
It just gives you a lot of issues to deal with. Number one, Chase Utley's a perfect 13 for 13 in stolen base attempts this year. Cubs cannot play the normal exaggerated infield shift that they have used for Ryan Howard. Even though he struck out his first 2 at bats, they have to play it a little more honest with the runner at first base.
It's clubbed into center and a base hit. One hop right to Sam Fuld. Throw gets away from Terrio, but not far enough to allow the runners to attempt to advance. Carlos Marmol just grabbed the ball out in the bullpen. 2 on with no outs.
Well, one thing I noticed is Ryan Howard lined that ball into center field. When the Cubs play that exaggerated shift on defense and the ball is put into play, guys have to react very quickly. Jake Fox was over at the normal shortstop position. As that ball was hit into center field, he turned and sprinted to third base. You see Ryan Terrio getting himself over in a cutoff position. Exaggerated shift will put your guys way out of position if they don't quickly react to a ball put in play.
Well, we're seeing Harden for the first time tonight give up some hard hit balls, and also he is starting to miss the strike zone. Something he rarely did in the first 5 innings. Two and 0 to Ibanez.
And the third time through the Phillies order, they're starting to lay off some of those pitches that they swung at the first 2 times up. Last changeup down and into Ibanez. We saw him swing through that pitch to strike out back in the 5th inning.
Towering fly ball, deep center. It's going to stay in. Fuld is on the warning track, getting behind the ball to throw to third. And it's a little late. What a throw by Sam Fuld, but Utley able to get in. And Howard also tagged from first on a heads-up play. Second and third, 1 out.
I think the Cubs infielders in unison were pointing at second base for Sam Fuld to throw that ball to second and keep the double play in order. That was a tremendously strong throw. Got behind the ball, unleashed it toward third base. A tough short hop once again for Jake Fox to handle. He had to come up to get the ball, allowing Utley to slide in. But unfortunately, Ryan Howard advances on to second base because the throw went to third.
Lou Piniella out to the mound.
Hey fans, the West Side Rooters Social Club has a great event coming up on August 17th. Cubs trivia buffs can compete for prizes along with the honor of being crowned the ultimate Cub fan trivia champion by Mr. Cub himself, Ernie Banks. The trivia challenge is on the 17th with the finals on the 24th at Harry Carey's Tavern.
It's Ben Francisco. We'll see what the Cubs do here on the infield. It's like the middle infielders are halfway in. Corner guys right at the edge of the grass. With runners at second and third and 1 out. Here we go. Fouled back. Changeup that was up. One and one on Francisco. Jason Worth will get back in the Phillies lineup tomorrow night. Two and one. The Lees waiting on deck. 2-2 tie in the 7th. He's got their 2 in the 3rd. The Phillies answered back on a Jimmy Rollins game-tying homer in the 6th. Popped him up. This is going to be a big second out. Baker kept his feet moving with the tricky wind tonight. 2 down. And now one of this week's National League nominees for facial hair of the month, Pedro Feliz. 2 finalists, Ryan Spilborghs of the Rockies, Feliz of the Phillies. Swing and a miss. You can go to whiskers.com to cast your vote. I'm kidding.
It probably takes Ryan Spilborghs a little bit longer to shave before the ball game than it does Pedro Feliz.
Guy's not that impressed. 0-1. Ground ball. This will get Harden out of the inning as Terrio throws across. It's still 2-2. Time for the stretch.
Tonight's guest inductor for taking out to the ballgame, former Chicago Cubs great, the Sarge Gary Matthews.
All right, Cub fans, got my grandson is going to help me sing this song. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ballgame. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back once more. Radio for the when it's a shame, for it's my turn. We fight you out at the old ball game.
He starts 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. And the Sarge is with us. A little harmony tonight in terms of the 7th inning stretch with your grandson.
Yeah, I had Denver out here with me and singing, and he's actually been practicing. So we've been having some fun with that. Another year that we've done that, right?
We just came from Denver. This nice symmetry there, and it's going to be foul. How old is Denver?
Denver, how old are you?
Denver? 3.
3 years old.
And he knows the song, every word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When are you going to be 4, Denver? Oh, hey, he knows it's on TV.
On the TV. Yeah, he does. He thinks that's really great to see himself, and most kids would, though, to see himself on television.
I'll say this, Sarge. One of you was a real good singer.
Well, it was probably him, for sure. Definitely.
Always
he likes to be able to sing, right?
I was on the
television.
The on the computer.
Oh, it's going to computer now.
That really sums it up, this generation. Instead of saying I'm on TV, they say I'm on the computer.
Oh, yeah, well, they have them, so, you know, they and use them.
That's right. Sarge, always great to see you back here at Wrigley Field. Great crowd tonight. Great matchup between two playoff contenders.
Yeah, I've always liked Harding as a pitcher. He throws the ball hard, keeps you honest, and not throwing a lot of breaking balls. But see, he's smart enough. If he doesn't need it, why go to it? And he's expanded the zone and made one bad pitch to J-Row. But I will say, you're going to throw fastballs at this Phillies club, you better be hitting some spots. They are a fastball hitting club. Now, if you're going to throw some off-speed breaking pitches, you're going to have a pretty good day with it.
And Jay Happ, our first look at him, he struggled early but really seemed to settle in.
Young pitcher and came in with really great credentials, and believe it or not, he was one of the guys that was scheduled to go to the bullpen.
We'll see Pedro Martinez tomorrow night. What are the expectations of the Phillies? I mean, here's a future Hall of Famer. Does anybody really know what he's going to give you?
All depends for me on velocity. If he has his velocity there, I think that he's going to do well. I mean, he's a competitor all the way, as you know that.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Milton Bradley.
Like since Park has gone to the bullpen, I got to tell you, Brent, I don't know what has happened, but he has been just about lights out.
We saw him in Philadelphia when the Cubs were there on that road trip about a month or so ago, and he dealt against the Cubs in that ball game.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that didn't want to go to the bullpen, and I know you heard that Jamie Moyer has actually gone to the bullpen. Don't know whether or not he likes that or not. But again, well, I know he doesn't like it, but again, that's, I guess, part of the game then.
Now, Sarge, is your grandson, has he been watching those YouTube videos of you brawling back in the day in the 70s?
Oh, man, please.
You were a tough guy. You were a tough guy when you played. Nobody messed with the Sarge.
One of the things that I am really not really proud about, my daughter actually saw that and says, Dad, is that you?
No.
But again, that was part of what you had to do back in the day, and what I call that is, Brent, you can testify to this, protecting your teammates.
Absolutely. You got an emotional involvement in the game, and as a group, you're trying to accomplish something, and the other guys maybe stepped over the line and did something they shouldn't have, and yeah, you got to stick up for your teammates.
0-2 on Derek Lee. Before the inning ends, Sarge, I want to ask you about Harry Callis, whom you worked with. The greatest voice in sports broadcasting history, and certainly Harry will be missed, but I know he's always with you guys.
Oh, there's no question about it. Harry was a type of broadcaster. He really kept things in perspective for you. I mean, all the time, and he made you realize how difficult this game was. I had a tendency to get on Ryan Howard quite a bit, maybe on striking out too much, but guess what? They don't care about striking out these days. They care about that ball going out of the ballpark.
You're right. A wind, the 1-2, and Derek Lee bounces that one foul. You had a chance to be around Derek Lee a lot here in Chicago.
Oh,
having a great year.
He's a class act. I know he was worried earlier about not getting his home runs. I see he's picked that up, you know, again, but he saves you so many runs defensively at first base. You begin to get spoiled some.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, Sarge. That's a part of the game that sometimes gets overlooked. If you've got a first baseman that can't pick that ball out of the dirt and can't stretch to his right and left and save those bad throws, it really puts some pressure on your pitching staff.
Going to be a long year is what it's going to be.
Park has struck out 2 in the inning. Now a 2-2 pitch to Lee. And he was able to hold 3-2.
Yeah, that's when you know you're going good. Seeing the ball well. Derek Lee, one of my favorite players, always has been.
Denver wants to get on the field. He wants to play tonight.
Well, he did pretty good in his T-ball this year, believe it or not, was the MVP of that league.
All right.
Yeah, this will be great. So when he sees this a little bit later on, you know. Yeah, and I
might make all the highlight shows tonight.
Has a lot of energy.
Yeah. All 4. Well, you know what? That means he'll sleep well tonight.
Oh. Yeah, well, they do that all the time. And again, he has a lot of energy.
It was Ryan Sandberg bobblehead night tonight. Were you able to get one, your former teammate?
Of course. Wouldn't pass that up.
I actually think that it looks a little bit like Rhino. Some of the bobbleheads don't really look like the person. But
Well,
that one does.
he's got to okay it, so, you know, I thought it had a good resemblance of him. Really did. Hall of Famer.
Ground ball to third. Feliz playing back. He's going to throw to second. That's the inning. Sarge and Denver Matthews, thanks so much for the time, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Stay tuned for a sneak peek of the new comedy, The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard, starring Jeremy Piven in theaters August 14th. Speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. Rich Harden took a perfect game into the 6th, but a one-out walk, and 2 batters later, a 2-run homer. And just like that, a 2-2 tie. Jimmy Rollins with that big blast. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Carlos Marmol takes over for Rich Harden. Solid outing, obviously, by Rich Harden when Lou and Larry needed a starter to get deep into the ball game because of the workload for the bullpen recently. It's about as good a job as you can ask for from a starting pitcher. Outstanding by Rich Harden tonight.
7 innings, 2 hits, and 2 runs. Marmol against Carlos Ruiz, the catcher. Slider is in there, strike 1. Ryan Madsen, changeup specialist in the Phillies pen, and Greg Dobbs on deck for Park. I certainly didn't want to embarrass our good friend Gary Matthews, but the one fight, I think the one fight I'm thinking about, was he a Brave or a Giant at the time? He got in a nasty one.
I think it was right here at Wrigley Field. I remember George Mitterwald blocked a couple of punches with his jaw. Yeah, Sarge was just a whirling dervish, just looking for somebody to hit. That's when he was a member of the San Francisco Giants early in his career.
Well, maybe a tough exterior when he was a player, but very soft in the middle. One of our favorites. All 4. Back-to-back innings with a leadoff walk. Tickets are available now for Cubs games in August and September. In particular, the series against the red-hot Washington Nationals, August 25th, 26th, and 27th. And games throughout September. Bleacher seats are still available as well. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Harden worked around a leadoff walk and a subsequent base hit in the 7th inning. Arnold facing pinch hitter Greg Dobbs gets him to foul back for strike one. Dobbs just 2 for his last 16.
Dobbs and Matt Stairs, a two-headed monster from the left side of the plate off the bench for Charlie Manuel this year. For Dobbs, this will be his 45th pinch hit at bat. Matt Stairs with 42 pinch hit at bats.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Kick the pitch way inside, backhanded by Soto. The Nationals went into Atlanta tonight with an 8-game winning streak, longest current win streak in the majors, but they're down 8-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Braves looking for their 4th straight win. Braves would be rooting for the Cubs tonight in terms of their division. They're 4.5 out in 3rd place. Florida, big come from behind game tonight. They lead 8-7 over Houston in the 8th. Pulled underneath. Dobbs is out. Roy Oswalt was cruising along 7-2 in the 6th inning. He never did get out of the 6th. In fact, he didn't get an out in that inning. And it's now 8-7 Florida in the bottom of the 8th. We are tied because Jimmy Rollins hit that home run to right in the 6th inning. Waves at the slider, 0-2. Another high fly, and it's deep, and Bradley's on the warning track. Unfortunately, this one stays in. Ruiz back to first, 2 outs. Rollins has been right on top of it tonight. Lined out in the 4th, hit the homer in the 6th, and just missed one here in the 8th. Now Shane Victorino got tossed on Sunday from his position in center by the home plate umpire Ed Rapuano. Rapuano said Victorino was showing his disgust with a ball call on an 0-2 to Wes Helms, so he warned him. And then Victorino apparently made another gesture with his arms, and that got him tossed. Going around Paul Bacco. Don't see that every day. Victorino did later say he's a big fan of Ed Rapuano's, and that's what frustrated him the most about the whole situation.
The center fielder, probably more so than any other defensive player other than the catcher, has a real good look at that strike zone and sees how it expands or contracts over the course of a ball game. And thought his pitcher was getting squeezed a little bit, but he learned a very valuable lesson. You can get ejected for arguing balls and strikes not only as a hitter but as a defender.
$41,477 are getting on their feet. Victorino fouling off again. 2 more with the Phillies after tonight, and then the Pirates Friday through Sunday. A tapper toward first, foul. One and 2 on Victorino. It hit him. Just grazed him. Two on. And for Carlos Marmol, that is the 11th hit batter of the year. That leads the entire National League. Wow. And everybody else on the list, a starting pitcher.
It just makes you wonder, how can you miss so badly? This is one of the great enigmas of this season, is what in the world happened to Carlos Marmol's command, or what happens to it on occasion. There are other times he'll come into the ball game and just throw nothing but strikes. In Colorado, a couple of days ago, he came in and gave up a base hit and then struck out the side, just pounding away at the outside corner with both his fastball and his slider. And now tonight, a hit batsman, a couple of other pitches that nearly went to the backstop to go along with a leadoff walk to the Phillies catcher.
He's never had great command, but last year 41 walks and 87 in a third innings. He actually walked more than he gave up hits. As you say, at times it is completely abandoning. Almost a walk per inning. You add up the walks and the hit batters. Let's see, 50 walks, 11 hit batters, in under 54 innings. And only 30 hits. Pitch with the batter's way, 2-1.
We talk about that all the time as well. When you're real erratic with your command and you're throwing a ball to the backstop and then you throw one right down the middle, when you get that borderline pitch, the umpire is more likely to call it in favor of the hitter than the guy on the mound who's throwing the ball all over the place.
Missed again. It's 3-1. Nobody up in the Cubs pen. This is Marmol's inning. Ryan Howard on deck. 3-1, and a dangerous hitter, Chase Utley. The kick, the pitch. They are loaded. And with that phone call, we will see somebody get up.
Probably a lefty that's going to have to get ready in a hurry. Mentioned it earlier in the ball game, Len, after the two switch hitters at the top of the order, that string of lefties, Utley, Howard, and Ibanez. So John Graybo is going to be the left-hander elected, and I think probably because he gets ready quicker than Sean Marshall.
John wearing the home pinstripes for the first time. He was acquired right before this last trip. They still shift against Howard with the bases loaded. Ball one. 2 outs in the inning, but the Phillies threatening to take the lead.
The good news is Carlos Ruiz is running at third base, not an adventurous base runner, and certainly not a candidate to try to steal home. He can get as big a lead as he wants down there at third base. Very important that Giovanni Soto and Carlos Marmol pay attention to Ruiz after the pitch gets past the hitting zone. Good throws back to the pitcher.
The kick, the 2-0, ball 3's got to throw straight. No hits in the inning. 2 walks and a hit batter. Howard taking all the way. Ball 4. That was real close, and Ron Kalpa, when asked by Carlos Marmol, saying that pitch was outside, and the Phillies have their first lead. And Lou has seen enough.
Well, we've seen both ends of the spectrum here from the Cubs pitching staff tonight. Rich Harden as good as any start we've seen all year long, and Carlos Marmol just couldn't find the zone.
And Marmol giving it to Ron Kalpa, who gave it right back. So Graybo in, it's 3-2 Phillies. John Graybo making his Cubs home debut. A first pitch strike, and the Bronx cheer. I think Rudy Giuliani will recognize that.
Well, they heard it a few times.
Yeah. 0-2 on Ibanez. Graybo has pitched in this park a lot, but as a Pirate, 21 appearances, a .540 ERA. Bases loaded, walk to Ryan Howard, giving the Phillies their first lead, 3-2. And the pitch struck him out. So Graybo comes in and strikes out Ibanez to get out of it, but the Phillies take the lead. It's now 3-2 in the 8th. Yeah, thanks. Ryan Madsen working to Giovanni Soto. Cubs trailing for the first time tonight. 56th appearance for Madsen. Their closer, Brad Lidge, after a perfect 2008, has had his struggles here in 09. Madsen setting up for Lidge. Now, we mentioned former Cub Jamie Moyer is in the Phillies bullpen now, but I don't think he'll be available the entire series. He did make the start on Sunday against Florida. It's Brad Lidge. Madsen's tall, 6'6", 200 pounds. 1-2 to Soto is low. He will throw that changeup to both righties and lefties
in any count. That's his go-to pitch.
There it is. Pretty good one. See that hand really choking the baseball as he let it go.
Gets it back in there in the palm of his hand, kind of wraps his thumb and his first 3 fingers around the baseball, takes some of the velocity off with the same arm speed that he uses for his fastball.
Here's a pitch to Soriano. A foul strike. Wind is still blowing in, not terribly hard. The only flags that are really moving are the ones atop the center field scoreboard. The flags on the poles not doing much at all. Broke his bat, ground ball fair, over the bag at third. Feliz throws to Howard. 2 outs.
Just explodes in the hands of Alfonso Soriano. That fastball got in on him just a little bit. Unfortunately, the ball stays fair down that third baseline, giving Pedro Feliz a chance to throw across for the out.
Jeff Baker with 6 hits the last 3 games, 2 tonight. 97. Ball 1. Madsen from the stretch. Nobody on with 2 outs, and the 2-0 pitch is lined fair. Right field. It kicks right to Francisco, and Baker going to have to hold at first, and he probably would have been out. Well, a good carom for Francisco, but a bad one for Jeff Baker.
Yeah, unfortunately, that looked like extra bases, at least 2, maybe more, down into the corner. Slicing line drive right down the right field line. Watch this ball kick further to the right after it hits fair. Gets over there against the bricks and ricochets right back to Ben Francisco, who's got a real strong throwing arm. No chance for Baker to attempt a double.
And that could be significant because he represents the tying run. Sam Fuld, 1 for 3. The pitch right down the middle. You've got the pitcher's spot next. Let's see. Kosuke Fukudome, who hasn't participated since Sunday. Nick Fontenot also available.
A couple of switch hitters in Aaron Miles and Coy Hill, but it looks like Fukudome, the man that will take the at bat if we get to that spot.
Foul tip, strike 2. The Cardinals still trail in the top of the 7th. Cincinnati 4. The Cardinals 1. Justin Lear, 6 innings, 10 hits, 1 run. Still in there. And he went around, and Full strikes out. The Cubs get a 2-out hit, but no runs. Here comes the 9th. Phillies 3, Cubs 2. Night for the Phillies came with 2 outs in the 6th inning, and he tied it up with a 2-run homer off Rich Harding. The BMW ultimate drive of the game. Kosuke is going to come in and play center and lead off the bottom of the 9th. And Angel Guzman will come in to pitch and go into the 8th spot, vacated by Sam Full. Yeah, how about Justin Lear? Shut out the Cubs last time around, and he's handcuffing the Cardinals tonight. See if he can keep it going. 10 hits, 1 run. 84 pitches through 6. Keep an eye on that one.
We were told his nickname in the minor leagues was Magic. Nobody could really figure out how he got guys out, but he knows what to do with that mid-80s fastball. A couple of good breaking pitches.
1-1. As Brad Lidge gets ready for the bottom of the 9th. It's been a very inconsistent year for Lidge. Guzman able to handle it. Lobs to Lee, 1 out. Francisco 0 for 4.
Hey fans, the Cubs take on the Pirates this Friday at 1:20. Kids get to the ballpark early. The first 5,000 children 13 and younger will receive an exclusive limited edition Cubs Dora the Explorer plush doll. Compliments of Pepsi.
Breaking ball low and outside to Feliz. Ground ball picked up by Ryan Terrier. Yankees beat the Blue Jays 7-5. 4 big ones in the 8th. Matsui and Osada get home runs in that 8th inning. Mariano Rivera gave up 1 in the 9th, but got his 33rd save. It was a 2.02 ERA. Put him into the Hall of Fame. Why even wait? 515 saves. One of the great postseason pitchers in history. I know you have a ton of respect for Mariano Rivera, but it has to feel extra good to know that your team beat arguably the greatest postseason relief pitcher ever.
It makes me feel good that my players were smart enough to make an adjustment against the guy. I mean, Mariano Rivera, the thing that's amazing about him, even though he's come up with a little bit of a two-seam fastball later in his career, he's lived and died with that cut fastball his entire career. Everybody in baseball knows what he's going to throw, and they still can't hit it.
0.77 postseason ERA. That's deep for Ruiz. And fair. A home run. They'll probably review this. And Ryan Terrio's out there arguing with Jake Fox, and we're going to see another review. I don't think there's any doubt about it. The call was made by Dale Scott at third.
That
ball
way
looked
foul.
Clearly foul.
I don't even know
involved in replay last night. May happen again tonight.
I don't even know if they're going to have to review that. I think Ron Culpa, the home plate umpire, probably had as good a view as Dale Scott did. I mean, we saw it from up here, and we don't have a good angle on the play, but it clearly landed well into foul territory.
Now, the only thing here, Bob, is if they say, no, it was foul, Charlie Manuel will come out and say, you know what, guys, you've got the replay, you might as well use it. And I would unfortunately tend to agree with that. Now they're going to go look. Well, when it rains, it pours. Replay for the second straight, and it'll take them about 5 seconds.
Yeah, we'll get to see it before the umpires do. I don't even know that that ball reached the foul pole. It lands in the bleachers on the foul side right there. How do you miss that one?
Well, Matt Stairs is already standing in the batter's box, and I think Ruiz went around the bases. Wasn't really watching him. Well, he's going to stay in the dugout until he's told otherwise.
Yeah, don't put your gear on yet, Carlos. I think your at bat is going to continue here. Milton Bradley apparently a little lonely out there in right field. Saw the Cubs infielders huddling in the middle of the infield. Decided to come on in and join the conversation.
I mean, this obviously is an easy call, but this is why I do like replay. If this were a playoff game and the call was missed that badly and the home plate umpire didn't have a good enough look at it, you have to have replay to confirm that that ball was foul.
It just makes you wonder what Dale Scott saw to make him think this was a fair ball. It doesn't reach the foul pole.
Here they come.
It clearly lands in the bleachers in foul territory.
And no home run. It's a foul ball.
Well, the bottom line is MLB and the umpires, they want to get calls right. So if it involves stopping the game for a couple of minutes and checking every questionable home run ball, then that's what you have to do.
Now a 1-2 pitch, fouled back. Two-minute delay.
Not quite as dramatic as the Bob Davidson call in yesterday's ball game, but Scott got it right. Ultimately.
Terrio scoops. That's the inning. A fist pump by Angel Guzman, who gets 3 ground ball outs. Last chance for the Cubs. Fukudome, Terrio, Bradley coming up against Brad Lidge when we come back. But be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs Pfizer. Compliments of McDonald's. Well, Brad Lidge is not what you call Larry Anderson, their broadcaster, when he walked into the booth, the human slider, but he has a pretty good one. But some ugly numbers this year for a guy who was not only perfect in save chances last year during the regular season, but all the way through the postseason as well.
You see the lofty ERA right there. His last appearance a couple days ago against the Marlins. Gave up 3 hits and 3 runs, including a homer. Just an ugly, ugly ERA for a closer. In save situations, his ERA is nearly 7.
He's been on the DL this year. A sprained right knee back in June. Sikosuke, who at one time was in the Cubs leadoff spot, doing that here in the 9th. His first at bat of the night, and that was an awkward looking swing from Fukudome.
That's the slider from Brad Lidge.
Sikosuke is 1 for 3 against Lidge. There's the fastball. 1-1. A lot of games against the Cubs when he was with Houston. 2-1.
Need a runner. Find a way on there.
Terrio and then Bradley. And if anybody gets on, Derek Lee. Kosuke in the catbird seat with a 3-1 count. Cubs have out hit them 8-2, but trail 3-2 in the 9th. Ball 4. Tying run is on. So Howard will hold on Fukudome at first, and Terrio will have a nice big hole between first and second.
And the old baseball axiom is you play for the tie at home and you play for the win on the road. Let's see if Terrio's bunting here.
Yep, squaring and bunting foul.
It looked like that bunt was going to be directed to Pedro Feliz at third base, which is not what Ryan wants to do in this situation.
Feliz ready to charge, way up high.
As the slider just got away from Brad Lidge. I was about to say before that pitch to Yokosuke Fukudome at first base, you really need to be on your toes because Lidge is just as likely to bounce that slider as he is to throw it in the strike zone.
A 1-1. Lidge will throw to first. Utley covering, and he got back down in time. Two shots at it now.
Dead net ball right out in front of the mound. Lidge's only play is the first base, and he tried to throw it away.
Milton Bradley a double, and the Cubs' first run in the third inning. 1 for 4 on the night. 0-1.
Once again, we talked about it earlier. The strong arms in the Phillies outfield are in center and right. Victorino and Francisco. Ibanez, as we've seen, does not have a strong throwing arm.
Good wheels at second, and Fukudome. The kick, the pitch. In a right base hit. Fukudome had to hesitate. Mike Quaddy's going to send him. And we're tied at 3-3. Milton Bradley tying the ball game. And now a chance to win it.
And Milton Bradley continues to scald the ball from the left side of the plate. A pitch out over the outer third. He went out and got it, hooked it back to right center. And once again, Mike Quaddy waving Kosuke on home. I think the determining factor there was that Francisco was moving to his right over toward the gap. Tough to right yourself and make an accurate throw when you're moving laterally.
Lidge to lead. Ball one. Lidge has blown another save. That's 7 of them on the year. He was 8 for 8 since coming back from the DL. Big swing. He missed the slider. 1-1 to lead. Maybe a chance to get within 2 of the Cardinals, who are trailing in the 8th 4-1. The Cubs just tied it. Well, every team has issues, Bob. I mean, we talked about the Cubs' problems lately. The Phillies are 61-48, 3.5 up going in. But they had a 7-game lead late last week. They have a closer in Brad Lidge, who earned a lot of points with his unbelievable year last year, but he has been far from automatic this season. There's 1-2 taken low. Bradley takes off for second, swing and a miss, throw there. Actually hit him. And he has his second stolen base as a Cub. So he's in scoring position with 2 outs.
7 stolen base in 8 attempts against Brad Lidge this year. He didn't give his catcher Carlos Ruiz much of an opportunity there. Nice jump by Milton Bradley. Just a base hit.
Jake Fox trying to supply that hit. He's had 3 consecutive 2-hit games. The pitch to Fox. A little overly aggressive on the slider, 0-1. Tell you one thing, Jake did not jump into that batter's box with the intention of walking. And setting it up for Soto. We'll try to end it right here. Ooh. Well, I think the strike zone's gotten smaller tonight. On both sides.
Well, he hasn't given anything off of the inside corner of the plate. That one may be down just a touch.
1-1, way inside. Fly ball, center field. Victorino with the catch. And guess what? We'll go to extras. The Cubs playing extra innings for the 15th time this year. Bradley tied it. It's 3-3. But it was called fair as Carlos Ruiz thought he had added some insurance for the Phillies. As Scott, the third base umpire, called it foul. I loved Angel Guzman's reaction. Don't worry, Gio. They have replay. We're okay. And he was right. At Stairs, a former Cub, takes strike 1. We're in the 10th. In a 3-3 tie. That was priceless. Ground ball right to Baker. Partner Brad Lidge, who's pretty shaky, gave up 1. Certainly wasn't the dominating guy we saw a lot last year.
I mean, on occasion he can snap off that slider, and it makes you remember why he was perfect in save opportunities last year, but made some mistakes with his fastball up in the zone. Tried to overthrow some of those sliders. Just doesn't look like the same confident closer we saw last year.
The other key to the top of the 9th is that Angel Guzman didn't throw a lot of pitches, going 1-2-3, which allowed Lou to bring him right back out for the 10th. He very easily just could have left Guzman in the 9 spot and had Fukudome pinch hit for him to start the bottom of the 9th, but he decided, you know what, in case we go to 10, I'm going to double switch him. And Fukudome scored the tying run, and Guzman with a chance to grab the win. One and 2 on Rollins. On a curveball to go 3-2. You could see Gio gave him about every sign in his repertoire.
Angel's been mostly throwing two-seam fastballs that tail down and away from the left-handed hitters and cutters that break in. Tried to sneak a curveball in there against Jimmy Rollins, and because he hasn't thrown many in the game, just didn't have a good feel for it. Left it way up in that right-handed batter's box.
Starting to time that heat from Angel. Some 5-hit performances the last couple of days. Tulowitzki against the Cubs hit for the cycle last night. Mark Ellis of the A's hit 5 hits against the Orioles last night. And tonight, Adrian Gonzalez is 5 for 5 for the Padres in Milwaukee. They lead 12-4 in the 8th. 4 singles and a double for the Padres first baseman. Another 3-2, another foul. Already a 9-pitch at bat. Driven deep to left. Soriano with a beat on it. Right at the edge of the track. If you're traveling and can't watch your Cubs on TV, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer. And catch those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. And bouncer right to Guzman. He throws out Victorino. 6 up, 6 down for the Cubs righty. Chance to win it in the bottom of the 10th. Soto, Soriano, and Baker due up. 0-3 in his career against the Cubs. 8 previous appearances. Selected from AAA Lehigh Valley on July 23rd. Soto 0 for 2. He has walked twice. Pedro Feliz playing right on the line at third. But the ground ball goes to Jimmy Rollins. Looks it in before firing across.
The wind continues to blow in from left field, but not nearly as hard as it has throughout most of the ball game. Those bleachers are reachable.
Cubs have won 5 of 6 in extras at home, 8 and 6 overall. The Phillies are 6 and 2 on the road in extra innings. That would get it done. He hits it there. Soriano with a sacrifice fly in the third. 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Popped up. Utley's calling off Victorino.
That's some excitement in Boston tonight. The Tigers and the Red Sox apparently cleared the benches a couple of times in that game. Kevin Youkilis and Rick Porcello got into it after Youkilis was hitting it back by a pitch. Apparently there were a few brushbacks and hit batters earlier in the ball game. A rough takeout slide at second base. Dog days. It's the dog days.
Yeah, it really is. Baker swings and misses. He has 3 singles and 4 trips. They're in the 11th in Miami. 8-8 Astros and Marlins. Line shot left field and a 4-hit night for Jeff Baker. Getting regular playing time here the last few days. He's made the most of it.
Yeah, he's really making a case to get some more playing time. That's kind of been a black hole for the Cubs offensively out there at second base this year. Mike Fontenot's had varying degrees of success. Aaron Miles, when not on the disabled list, has struggled to find his stroke offensively. And Jeff Baker stringing together a couple of real good offensive games.
First 4-hit game in over a year for Baker, and Aaron Miles batting for Angel Guzman. Charlie Manuel heading out to the mound. Former Cub Scott Air is coming in. 1 on, 2 down. We're in the 10th, and it's 3-3. to last year, he has made 11 consecutive scoreless appearances against the Cubs. That goes back to his Giants days before he signed with the Cubs. Faces Aaron Miles, who hits a ground ball to Rollins. So Air throws one pitch and gets out of the 10th. Off to the 11th. Cubs 3, Phillies 3. Tries to keep them at 3.
I was going to say, you see what Kevin Gregg has done against left-handed hitters this year, holding them to a 189 batting average. Like to continue that trend here in this inning.
Kevin said recently he might have been tipping his pitches and has made an adjustment to correct whatever it was he was giving away. Utley fouls back. Sometimes guys get into bad habits and do something with their glove or the way they hold the ball before they pitch that gives away what they're throwing. Sliders in the dirt. 1-1 to Utley. Gotten on the last 2 times via the walk. I don't know what Lou would plan to do, but I know he's going to be asked by somebody either after the game tonight or before tomorrow night's game. Would you consider elevating Angel Guzman in terms of the depth chart in the bullpen? As Fox makes a catch and Utley is out. We've seen Carlos Marmol get into really good stretches, but that inconsistency just keeps popping up its ugly head, and tonight he walked 3 and hit a batter in that 8th inning, and Guzman was really good
and has been really good for most of the season, while Marmol has struggled with his command for most of the season. And when you're talking about the 8th inning of a close ball game late, every 90 feet is so important, a base on balls, a hit batsman, whatever the case may be. Don't overanalyze.
Lined all the way to Bradley. Another shoestring catch for Milton. That's his 2nd of the night.
Wow. That ball was smoked right there, fortunately for the Cubs. And Milton Bradley, a lot of topspin once again. That uppercut swing from Ryan Howard gets out and around that ball. Man, the ball was sinking hard, but Milton makes his 3rd great catch out there in right field tonight. Though none of them have been easy.
Ball 1 1 to Ibanez, who is 0 for 4. Strike 2 and a fastball. Fly ball left center, and Soriano makes a play. They go 1, 2, 3. They don't have a hit since the 7th, even though they tied it in the 8th. They got the lead in the 8th. It's now 3-3 in the 11th. Off an inning was the ninth when he walked in, later scored the tying run. Trying to score the winning run tonight as he faces Scott Air. A game in St. Louis, bottom of the 8th. The Cardinals are within 2, and they have a tying run at the plate. And Arthur Rhodes now pitching. We'll keep you posted. Boy, nobody can put that team away. It's the patented Scott Air slider.
We'll see quite a few of them in this at bat for Kosuke Fukudome. A good time to see Kosuke drive one to the gap in left center. I haven't seen nearly as many of those whirling dervish spinning swings from Kosuke Fukudome. Much better balance in the batter's box.
Worked with Von Joshua, who has said the key in terms of avoiding that spin is to get that front foot down early. One and 2 to Fukudome with Terrio on deck. Kick, the pitch, got it. Outdoor slider came back over the plate.
I'm sure this is not where Scott Air wanted to throw that pitch. You can see Ruiz was set up low and away. Slider started right at Kosuke, broke across the inside part of the plate for a called strike 3.
side to Terrio. One out of 4 with a sac bunt, coming off a very solid road trip during which he batted .351. High in the air to left, and it falls right into the glove of Ibanez. 2 outs. Well, Bradley tied it in the 9th, chance to win it in the 11th. Over the last week, the Cubs' best player has been Milton Bradley. As you mentioned, he's made several nice catches tonight. A big one in Colorado during the Cubs' lone win there. His average nearing .270. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Got both his slugging and on base averages up over 400. A 1-1 pitch is way wide. The Phillies bullpen in terms of ERA, in the middle of the pack, 10th in the National League at .410. Fly ball center field. Victorino on the warning track. He has just enough room. Bradley thought he got it, but we'll head to the 12th. Milton thought this game was going to end, and a lot of Cub fans did too. It's still 3-3. Against Jay Happ. Jake Fox with an RBI single. Cubs getting the lead. Soriano would add a sac fly, 2-0, and then the first hit for the Phillies was in the 6th. A 2-run homer by Jimmy Rollins off Rich Harden to make it 2-2. Now into the 9th inning. Phillies already leading 3-2. Carlos Ruiz thought he had a home run, but it was foul after they reviewed it on the video replay. And the Cubs would tie it in the bottom of the 9th, and here we are in the 12th. Ben Francisco against Kevin Gregg. That's deep left field. Soriano back, and it's into the basket. A go-ahead homer for Ben Francisco. Kevin Gregg in the 11th got through Utley, Howard, and Ibanez 1, 2, 3, but the right-handed batting, Francisco, gets him in the 12th.
Only his second home run as a member of the Phillies, his 12th overall if you combine his numbers with the Indians. Took a breaking ball that was down and over the heart of the plate and golfed it into the basket in left field. Man.
Well, that's the home run you talked about, Bob. You're going to hit it to left. That's how you have to hit it tonight. Again, the wind really has died down. Cubs will have Lee, Fox, and Soto in the bottom of the 12th. And with nobody up in the Phillies bullpen at this point, it would be Scott Air, although his spot's probably going to come up this inning. I believe they had a right-hander up earlier. Well, we'll find out soon as somebody's going to get up here with one out as Feliz strikes out. And Chad Durbin, who just came off the DL. Is now up.
For Kevin Gregg, that was his 11th home run surrendered this year in just over 52 innings pitched. Look on the other side of the field. We talked about Brad Lidge's struggles this year coming into play tonight in 41 innings. He'd given up 10 home runs. So closers all around baseball are not having it as good as Mariano Rivera.
Adrian Gonzalez 6 for 6 for the Padres, leading 13-4 in the 9th in Milwaukee. Couldn't get him out. Inside corner 2-2.
You talk about good hitters and you talk about streaky hitters. For me, Adrian Gonzalez is a good hitter that can get even hotter, get in good streaks like he's in right now.
Only hitting .262 after the 6 for 6. Baker throws out catcher Ruiz. Jason Worth get a pinch hit appearance. If the Phillies hang on tonight, they will improve to 7-2 in extras on the road. That's hard to do. I don't know what the all-time record would be in terms of home team versus road team in extras, but I'd have to say home team would have a pretty good advantage.
You would think so, yeah.
The last crack. The other thing, if the Phillies get the win, they'll have a better road record than the Cubs' home record, as good as the Cubs' home record is. Two balls, two strikes. If they hold on, they would be 33-19 on the road. The Cubs would drop to 33-20 at home. They have the second best home record in the league. Worth hit a game-ending homer against Jeff Samardzija in Philadelphia back in July. Pinch hitting tonight in the 12th with his team already ahead, and he bounces foul. A big surprise to see a The long at bat from Jason Worth leads the league in pitches per plate appearance at 4.5. Derek is over and it's out of play.
You know, Len, you look at this Phillies lineup, and certainly Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Raul Ibanez, Jimmy Rollins, they get a lot of credit, and rightfully so, but Jason Worth is a guy that can do some damage. Not only with the bat, 23 homers, 69 RBI on the season. He can steal a base for you. He's a great defensive right fielder.
Called strike 3. Francisco led off the inning with a go-ahead home run. It's 4-3 Phillies to the bottom of the 12th. Cubs need to come back in the final at bat for the second time. They tied it in the ninth to get it into extras against Brad Lidge, and they'll now face Chad Durbin, who just came off the disabled list. He had a right lat strain. And he'll face Derek Lee to start it. Our producer tonight is Bob Albrecht. Our director, Dave Turner. Our associate producer, Tamara Anderson. Our stage manager in the booth, Christine Charbonneau. Our technical director, Joe Bincy. Our tech manager, Mark Harper. And the senior executive producer of Comcast Sportsnet, Jim Corno Jr. Great work, as always, by our home Comcast Sportsnet crew. It's been a while since we've been here. First home game in 12 days. 1-0 pitch to Lee. Now 2-0. Lee has already walked 3 times. High in the air, and it's going to be caught by Francisco. Now Jake Fox.
How about a wind beater to left? You know it's in the back of Jake Fox's mind. 2 singles on the night, drove in the first run of the ball game.
Francisco Cordero is on for the Reds in the bottom of the ninth. And the Cardinals have the tying run at the plate with no outs. 3-0 to Fox. A wind, here comes the pitch. Ball 4. All started with a walk in the 9th. Inside corner. Lee still hugging the line at third with Howard holding on. Fox at first. The kick, the pitch, way inside. Ibanez is pretty deep in left.
Thinking about a pinch runner for Jake Fox. Really at this point, Mike Fontenot would be the only available guy to come off that Cubs bench and run. Ramos Ramirez is still on the active roster, but we wouldn't see him in a pinch running role, I wouldn't anticipate. And Coy Hill, the only other available position player.
One and one on Soto. The kick and the pitch fouled it right off his foot. 1-2. Four, 3 Phillies in the 12th. The 1-2 fastball just missed. 2-2. Swing and a miss. 2 outs. It's up to Soriano. Well, those high fastballs are so enticing. We've seen guys on both teams swing at a bunch of those pitches tonight, and most have been missed.
Talk about it all the time. You really have to be quick with the top hand to get on top of that high fastball, and you're absolutely right, Len. It is enticing. Looks like a beach ball coming up there.
The 1-0. Durbin pretty wild in this inning. He's trying to be effectively wild.
Got a little deception in his delivery anyway, as you see that one up and into Soriano. Kind of a crossfire action. Steps a little bit toward the third base side, throws back across his body.
Tying run at first, winning run at the plate, 2-1 on Soriano. The pitch, fly ball to right, and this is going to do it. It's Francisco, and the Phillies beat the Cubs in 12 innings. Well, the Cubs did come back in the 9th.